Hi everyone, my name is Benito. Welcome to Benito's Chronicle. This is a channel dedicated to my Sims legacy. I've been playing with the same family and same save file for I think about six-ish years. And so I created this channel to kind of like talk about my Sims legacy and the important characters and people in my save file that kind of like contributed to the lore and why I love coming back to the save file. um, the goal for each video is to talk about an important character or heir or a descendant of this family. Now, today's video is titled The Muse, and we're going to be talking about Casandra Goth, a very important person to Mintzy. Last week we talked about Mintzy, who is the patriarch, the heir, Gen 1, and now we're going to be talking about an important character to his journey, which is Casandra Goth. Now, who is Casandra Goth? For people who are not familiar with like Sims like lore, Cassandra is a member of the legendary Goth family, a very wealthy aristocrat noble family in the Sims like world. In my world, they are again a legendary Goth family, a legendary noble family, but they're one of the big threes, which are the three wealthiest families in my Sims game. Cassandra has kind of like struggled with the weight of her family's legacy and like who they are as people. She has always struggled with that kind of like her family's name, essentially. Like she is kind of like struggled with being a goth because everyone looks at her as a goth and not as Cassandra. And then also she has kind of like struggled with like her mother, Bella Goth. Bella Goth is not a bad mother, but she's very strict and she does want the best for her daughter, and she's definitely very protective of her daughter. And I think the reason why this is because Bella Goth was once kidnapped. She was kidnapped, and that event left her very fearful and very overprotective of her children. So because of that, um she kind of like raised Cassandra like very controlled with high expectations, like, and so she really did not like her mother being this controlling. So one of her ways of coping with this control was through music. Like she would write like very sad like ballads, filled with like, that she like filled with like that pain, that longing. Her music vibe would probably or music aesthetic would probably be very similar to like Billie Eilish, Aura, Lord, Melanie Martinez, like that very like aesthetic, like very haunting, very sad, moody like songs like with the piano was like Cassandra's like vibe. But the thing was like she never shared these songs publicly. Like she would always write them in her like in her diary and then keep it to herself. Like music was for her private. It was a private way of expressing it, but not like loudly, because Cassandra didn't use her voice because a lot of times she didn't think she had one. So one day Cassandra just had this like idea of, you know what, let me just kind of like leave my city, because like she lives in Willow Creek, and so she was like, let me go and see what any neighboring cities are like. So she went to Oasis Springs, which is land grab terrain. Land grabs own everything, but like the land grabs live in Oasis Springs. So she ended up going and saw this lounge. They were hosting like this like, talent show. You can do music, like do whatever you want, kind of like vibe. So Cassandra decided to go on stage, um, and she sang her song. She has a very haunting voice, very soft, very emotional. 'Cause I don't know how to feel, but one day I might. One day I might. Like something like that. That's what I'm thinking. Like very haunting, very like love that song so much. So she's performed her song and people were listening, people were even crying. Like people were like, "Oh my god, this is beautiful. This is this is beautiful." And so one of the people in the crowd was Mintzy. Mintzy was listening to Cassandra play and Mintzy was touched. Like he was touched. Um emotionally by Cassandra's music. And so after the performance was done, people started clapping. People were very, very impressed with Cassandra. Cassandra was kind of like very shocked because like she a very private person, right? So she her going and doing this is like a very big thing for her. But people were very impressed with her. People were very impressed. And so Mintzy kind of like came over and he was like, you are an amazing singer. Like you were amazing. And they started talking. Now Cassandra knew who Mintzy was because everyone did. Like, he is the orphan to be descendant of the legendary knight. So they started talking and hanging out. And when they started speaking, they both realized that they have so much in common with each other. Like it was kind of like more of like they saw it, but they didn't talk about it. Like they both start talking, and they both really liked hanging out with each other. Like they learned that they have like this connection, this like really good connection. But they both knew like they both carry the weight of their family history. They both struggle with their identity because like Cassandra is like, am I Cassandra or am I Goth? Like she struggles with that. Mintzy struggles with the same thing. This connection really grew into a very strong friendship, and Mintzy and Cassandra became really good friends, like really, really good friends. Now, Bella Goth was very worried. She did not trust Mintzy. Like in her eyes, Mintzy was a cloud chaser. Mintzy was a cloud chaser who wanted Cassandra for her status, for her power, not power, but like Cassandra is a goth, and so she felt like, oh, Minzy's like trying to cloud chase because he's a Saberi, and so if he can make people think that they're together, it might be even something. So she was like very untrusting of this relationship, and so every time she would like talk to Mintzy and she's done talking to Mintzy, her mother would be like, I don't trust this guy. Cassandra was very hurt about that. Cassandra was very hurt because Cassandra was like, why are you always like inserting yourself, trying to control me? Like, like this is not fun anymore. So they had like a very, very big argument. Like they had a very, very big argument because Cassandra was like, you're being controlling, you're telling me what to do, you're telling me, and you never ask me what I want to do. And so there was a very, very, very big argument to the point where Cassandra was like, I'm done with this. I'm done. So Cassandra left the home. Like she left the house. She just went away, and she was definitely figuring like, okay, my God, where am I going to stay? I don't know where to stay. I don't know where to go. And so she decided to go over to Mintzy's house. And so went to Mintzy. She kind of like said to him, hey, can I stay here for a while? And Mintzy was like, yeah, sure, we're friends. Like, don't worry about it. Like, everything's cool, everything is fine. And so Mintzy and Cassandra just kind of like became really good friends. They started to bond even deeper. And that deepening ended up turning to something romantic. So from something platonic to something romantic. So what happened is that Cassandra eventually became pregnant. She became pregnant, and she was happy but also a bit sad because she had this baby. She was pregnant, and this child is now carrying two massive bloodlines, right? Like they are both a Goth and a Cerberi, like Cerimboic's descendant. So it's like she was very afraid that her child would end up being just like her Mintzy, someone that had to conform because of what society expects them to be. And so she kind of like had this like very deep talk with Mintzy where she kind of like told Mintzy, was like, look, hey, I love you. I love you. I like you a lot, but I don't love you as like a lover. And the reason why I've been afraid to tell you this is because I think a part of me feels like if I tell you this, that I will probably lose you. Like I would lose you as a friend if I tell you I don't want to be with you anymore romantic. And she definitely told him like she felt like being together with him was kind of like more of like something that was expected of her instead of something that she wanted herself. And I think definitely means he noticed that Cassandra was not as interested. Like she was definitely like less interested in like like there was definitely moments like Minty wanted, like, yeah, Minty, I think definitely Minty liked Cassandra because he could relate to her so much. He could relate to her so much, and that's the reason why he liked her a lot. And he I think a part of Minty felt that Bella got into her head. But I think after having that deep discussion with Cassandra, he learned like, oh yeah, Cassandra might not be someone who wants romance. And I think like Cassandra at that moment realized like after speaking it out loud, like, oh, I think I'm definitely a romantic ace. Um because she did like becoming 20, like falling in, like she loved Minzy, and I'm not gonna say that she didn't love him. She loved Minzy, but I think her love for Minzy was not the type of love that she thought of, like what she's supposed to have. Her love for Missy should have been, for her, is always going to be platonic and not romantic. Like I think she does love him, but like as like a really good friend and as like the father of her child, like as a really close friend, as someone she can relate to. And so she kind of like learned, like through dating Minzy, like her true, like her true identity and her true romantic and woo tendencies, if you will. um and so after telling him that, she was kind of like afraid that she was going to lose him. But Minzy like reassured her. He was like, "Look, I want you in my life, regardless if we're friends or not. I still want you in my life. And yeah, like we're having this baby together, and I would love us to raise this child together. We can co-parent." And so it was a really good dialogue. It was like a very healthy relationship. I definitely don't understand where this all ended, because I honestly feel like this generation, I became very toxic, very very toxic. Like guys, it's gonna get very toxic. Oof. Um, but yeah, they had their daughter Aisha Goth, and yeah, Aisha Goth was born. Pretty girl, pretty. Like Cassandra has black hair, Minzy has black hair, so she had black hair, and then she had like minty green eyes. I might recreate her in cast, I might not. We shall see what happens. But yeah. Um, to Cassandra's like story, Cassandra never got married again. Like she didn't need to. She never had another child, so Aisha was her only child. And then later in life, she ended up moving in with her brother, Alexander Gott. They did have a third sibling, so a third godchild who became the heir to the God legacy. Um, so yeah, and so yeah, that is kind of like that narrative ending. um so over time, Cassandra and Bella reconciled. They Bella learned to let go and to allow her daughter to be herself and to be her own person. With like Minzy's encouragement, Cassandra decided to pursue music and to become a entertainer and singing her sad ballads around the world. And this is the first time she didn't have to hide her voice anymore. Cassandra learned to be more outspoken and to not be as passive as her dad, and to actually be like her mom a little bit and to be expressive. So that's very interesting, very very interesting connection. Like very interesting that she's like a lot like her mom. She's actually a lot like her mother, and she never thought that she was. She's a lot like her mother. She learned to had to be like her mom a little bit, because I mean Bellicott is that girl. Let's be honest. Um, so this is Bella Gott's story. Bella Gott is the muse, the inspiration, the inspirement of what she inspired Minzy to really kind of like find himself and to really become a little bit more confident in who he is, and to kind of like notice that you have to put yourself first, you know? Bella Gott's story is not a tragic story. It is about learning who you are when the world tells you who you should be. Like, don't listen to the world, listen to yourself, listen to who you are as a person. And from there on, because at the end of the day, you know yourself more than anybody. So why would you listen to a bunch of people who do not know you? So yeah, that is the end of the story. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.